Hello, it's Deborah from the attic, and in this video I'm going to share with you some additional techniques using a stencil from the most recent Simon Says stamp kit, and I will provide a link to the video where I showed you how to make 10 cards using this kit. But this stencil is brilliant, it's great, it's really versatile, there's some lovely things that you can do with it. And so today I want to show you just one of those things that you can do using your stencil, or any other stencil you happen to have. I just happen to like this butterfly one. So what I'm going to show you is a resist technique. I've got a little piece of white card and I'm going to position my stencil over it, and I want to capture these 3 butterflies here. So I'm going to get some scrap paper to make sure that I sort of cover up any extra butterflies that I don't want in at this time. And as I work on the card, I'll also fill in, there are some tiny little holes there, and I'll make sure that I don't go through those either. So the resist is going to be provided by Tim Holtz Micro Distress Glaze. So this is a water resistant sealer. So what that means is that if you put it through a stencil and leave it to dry and then apply ink over the top, you'll get a lovely resist. This is like, I don't know, it's almost like, well, it's like a distress glaze, but the feeling, the texture of it is kind of like, it's greasy. It's like lard or dripping or something like that. It's got a funny texture. So I have a special sponge that I use just for the distress glaze, and this is one of these attachable, detachable ones. Normally I've been using my foam on a stick, which is actually oral swabs, and I use these because they're ever so cheap and they're very good. They're about £10 for 250 of these, and you get a sponge on a stick and it's easy to apply, and I store them in a little jar, all the different colours that I use, and that's just a nice way of keeping all the little swabs together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my foam pan. I'm going to try and cover it with glaze, but because I can't always get, because of the way I've used my glaze in the past, it's got a big dip, it's got a big well in the middle. So I'm going to use the top, I'm going to use the lid just to capture some more of the glaze, and put my foam pad in there rather than straight into the pot, which is what I used to do until I started poking my fingers in it and made a big well. Just me, maybe. So I've got my stencil in place over my card, and I'm going to start in the top, because that way hopefully I won't smudge as I work across the card. Hopefully I won't smudge what I've already done. So I'm just pressing the distress glaze down through the stencil. You won't be able to see very much at the moment because it's cream and it's white and it's clear and it's all the rest of it, but trust me, there will be distress glaze going through that stencil there. Okay, and I can see by just lifting that up that there is certainly glaze through the butterfly hole. Do you like my squeaky chair, by the way? Good, isn't it? I went to a shop and I said I'd like a chair that I can sit in comfortably and do crafting, and I said, and I'd like it to have extra big squeak so I can hear it when I'm making videos, and they said, oh, we've got just the thing. Yep, nice bit of stenciling through there. This is where it might get a little tricky to cover up all the little pieces I don't want to stencil through, but I think maybe, yeah, maybe that'll do it. Oh, I haven't added any more distress glaze. I'm being optimistic that this is going to work, even though I hadn't added any more to my foam pad. Let's just see. That's pretty good. So I'm now going to move my stencil somewhere else, and I think, and I'm going to work from the top down again so that I don't smudge anything that I've already done. Let's pop these out of the way a little bit. That squeaky chair salesman, he really should be on a bonus because this is a very squeaky chair. Let's have a big butterfly there. A big statement butterfly. And I'm going to add a little bit. I'm now covered in this stuff. I've got it everywhere. Let me just have a little cleanse. When you use this, you probably won't put it everywhere. It's just me. I am quite a clumsy crafter. If it's not on the wonk, it's all over me. And I come away from sessions in the attic covered in ink, but it takes ages for me to get off my nails or off my skin. It's like I go downstairs wearing the attic. There we go. Okay, so now before I do anything else, I'm going to let that dry. And it kills me to let things dry. I just want to crack on. I just, oh, let's do the next bit, but I'm going to be very good. I'm going to let it dry. Okay, so now we're back. It's been about 5 or 6 minutes since we parted company. I know it seems like no time at all. It's magic. Now, I'm going to read you what it says on here, because the first time I read this I thought, really Tim? Really Tim Holtz? Really you want me to do this thing? He says, buff off excess with dry paper towel for a smudge resist waterproof finish. Smudge? You want me to smudge this? You want to smudge this off? Really? Really, Mr. Tim Holtz? But trust. The first time I did this I thought, oh no, that's the design ruined, it's not going to work, Tim Holtz has told me lies. But we've got rid of the excess. I don't expect you to be able to see any of this other than a bit of shiny card. And let's see what magic we can make. Oh look. I love this. I think it's so cool. It's such a great technique. Because just when I'm panicking and thinking, oh no, if I buff it off, I'm going to lose my design. There's my design. Oh, see they're pretty. So I have 3 Distress Oxides, Shaded Lilac, which I'm using at the moment, Wilted Violet, which is standing by, ready to leap into action, and Mermaid Lagoon. That's a beautiful bluey green, rich turquoisey, I don't know what it is, but it's a beautiful colour. I really do like Mermaid Lagoon. As if by magic, the image appears. Oh, so rewarding. So rewarding. I like a bit of magic in the craft room. Look at that. I'm so easy pleased, it's not true. when I'm applying the colour, I'm starting quite softly. I'm not going in with a heavy pressure. It's a very soft pressure so that I don't get sort of a big like that, or like that. It's if you go in soft and gently, you get a softer start and you don't get splats of colour. This makes a really nice background. I've made a few of these now and I still don't tire of the wonder of seeing those little images from the stencil come through the ink. Do like a good resist technique. And there are other resist techniques that you could use, but this is my resist technique of choice at the moment. I'm adding the colour in random splodges. I don't want the colours to be too solid or blocky. You could do that, but I think that for butterflies it needs to be a softer blend of all the colours. And then what will happen as you apply them directly onto your sheet is that they will merge and they will make other mixed colours. Okay, so the card is covered with ink, and I've found a way to make those butterflies stand out even more is just to go over with a semi-dry baby wipe. And it doesn't matter if it moves the ink under or on top of the card, that's absolutely fine, but it will help just bring those stenciled butterflies to prominence. Here we go. Now, hopefully you can see that. Nice butterflies. Where there are little patches where I didn't put a butterfly, I'm going to put a butterfly. So I'm going to use the solid butterflies. I hope you can see that. Let me try this. This one here, little butterfly here. So when I've experimented in the past with this, these colours, the one that works nicest is actually the wilted violet. So I'm going to put these two to one side, pop their lids on them, and I'm going to focus on using the wilted violet. And I'm going to put in a little solid butterfly anywhere I've got a gap, or anywhere that I want to bring it to prominence. So I'm going to start with the little solid butterflies, and then I'm going to add the little tiny butterflies in the same colourway. We'll begin with the solid one, and I want to put one, I know I want to put one here. So I've got to mask off one of those little areas because I don't want my solid butterfly, I don't want to get carried away and do this bit here. That's always a risk with this sort of thing. You just start having fun and forgetting what you're doing, and before you know it you've got everything all in the wrong place. Or maybe that's just my world. Maybe you're more careful than I am. I'm dabbing through the stencil. I'm not doing this with my foam, I'm just dabbing through. And I'm not dabbing so I get a solid hard image. I want it to be very soft, because then that will tie in with the rest of the design, which is also soft. Where else should we have a solid butterfly? Let's put one in here. And I'm keeping the two pieces of waste paper. What's nice about this technique is that you get layers of interest, layers of colour, layers of resist, and it all builds up to a really nice, soft, gentle background. So now I want to use my very smallest butterfly, and I want to have that going in this direction. And oops, managed to get some ink on the reverse. Gone. I need to mask off anything else I don't want so that I can focus on just this butterfly. You can see how the background is building up. Really subtle, really pretty. I'm going to add a couple more butterflies and then we'll meet up again. That's our background finished. All of the inking up has been done. So now I'm going to just clean my waste piece of sheet. Isn't that pretty? Lots of lovely layers in there, lots of subtle butterflies in there. And the next thing I'm going to show you is how to get some words in the centre of that card. I've got a Tim Holtz stencil here. Doesn't seem to have a name, it has a code. THSO43, and I want to use the word discover. Yeah, there it is. I've lined this up on a piece of white card, and I'm going to use the same colour again, Wilted Violet. Using that dominant colour will pull everything together when the card is assembled. So I'm going to go through in the same way, just dabbing, not doing this sort of motion, just dabbing through so that there is colour through the word. So there's my word. Let me show you that word. There's my word. And I can put my Wilted Violet ink away. The dog wants to come up and do some crafting. And I'm going to just clean down my stencil using a baby wipe. There we go. My dog thinks I'm talking to you, my dog thinks I'm talking to him, so he keeps looking at me with a sort of an inquiring look on his face, as if to say, what? What do you want me to do? Why are you telling me about ink? What? We're going to get our pen. This is a 0.05 pen. I'm going to line up my stencil, and I've got my pen ready to go through with the little zigzag. Go in any direction that makes you happy. This is the same as we did with the butterflies in the previous video. Just using the ink to go over the pigment ink on the sheet. I will colour in that little bit there, don't know what to call it, little zero type shape circle. Discover. It's a great word. It's a great positive word. There we go. So now I'm going to cut that out. And because I can't cut straight, I'm going to use a guillotine. I use this almost exclusively for all of my cuttings, and it's great. It's really, really good. I've had it for, make that a wee bit tighter on the word. I've had it for about maybe 5 or 6 years. Most of the things I've had for quite a long time. Most of the equipment I've had for quite a long time, because I take so long to choose before I buy anything. So at the moment I'm deliberating about buying a 12-inch cutter. And I've seen that there is a guillotine that's exactly the same as this, but it cuts 12 inches. And I'm still trying to decide whether or not I should buy one. I will still be trying to decide in a year's time, oh, should I have that? Oh, I don't know if I really need it. Oh, I can manage my little one. You know those sorts of conversations. You have those conversations with yourself as well, don't you? Your little inner dialogue that says, oh, I don't really need it. I can manage without it. I don't want to store an extra thing. Yep, me too. There we go. Discover. Mostly straight, I think. I haven't looked too closely. Might be all over the shop. That's alright, I'll get away with that, won't I? That's alright. So, because I'm going to stick this onto my background, let me just show you. Ta-da! I want to pull everything together. So I've got some black in my word, discover, and I'm going to add more black around the outside of my word and around the outside of my background. So what I'm going to do is little lines. I love little lines. So I'm going to put a little dot in each corner, because otherwise I will forget. And I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to just join up the dots, except I'm not going to join them up. I'm just going to leave them a little bit open. Space between the line and the dot. And I'm going to do an internal line as well. And these lines should not be straight. It's my excuse for them being on the wonk. They should not be straight. Take all that pressure away from yourself. Give it wonk. There we go. So that's my word, nicely highlighted with black around the outside. And to do the same on my background, I'm going to put little dots in the corner, like that. Now the dog is pushing me with his nose. What do you want? You can't have more paper, it'll make you sick. I'm going to add little lines. Now this is where we need to have a little bit of scrap paper ready to help us keep the pen nib nice and clear, because I don't know if it's the resist or if it's the ink, but sometimes, thank you, sometimes your dog will tell you what you need to do. I can't do that because I'm going to laugh and I'm going to make a really wobbly laugh. Rough. Shh. Okay. Another little dot. So these are little random dots I'm putting in. I'm clearing my nib down to make sure that it stays nice and solid-ish. Random dot. Random dot. I really like drawing lines around the outside of things. I could do this extensively, but I have to rein it in. I have to exercise self-discipline and just go with 2 lines. You can see when my pen nib gets a little bit clogged up, covered over. That's why it's nice that this line is inexact. I don't need to worry about errors or double lines particularly. It's a nice way to make a border with minimal effort, just lines and dots. And it really will pull the card together. You'll see what I mean very soon. Oops. There we go, nice line. You could use a thicker pen and do 1 line. I like thin lines. I like 2 lines. There we go. So that's my background, and my word will sit in the middle, and the other thing that I'll get is 2 butterflies. So these are done in the same way as in the last video. So I've used a stencil, and I've gone through the stencil with some ink, and then I've gone through, I don't know if you can see, I've gone through with my black pen to make that design on the bird, on the bird, on the butterfly. Oh dear. It's your fault, dog, you put me off. He's just looking at me. He's just looking at me as if to go, it's not my fault. It's not my fault if you're an idiot and you can't remember words. So we're going to add the little butterflies to the card as well. So let's assemble. It's always my favourite bit. I love a bit of assembly. Here we have a pink card, side folding card, and I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue because I really like this glue, except I don't like it that much that I want the biggest bit. I want to try and take off the little bit. You're going to help me? You're going to help me by woofing at me? Thank you. And you can possibly hear a tractor in the background as well. It's all going on here. Well, that's got rid of the dog anyway. He's going to go and woof at the tractor now. Okay. There we go. I've managed to glue that down now. And I want to add some dimension, and I'm just debating whether or not I should raise up the butterflies or raise up the word. I think I'll raise up the butterflies. Now, in the last video, when I did this, I used craft foam, but because these pieces are really quite small, I'm going to dig around and see if I can find... nope, can't find nothing. I'm going to dig around and see if I can find my foam pads. Found the foam pads. Here we go. So, I'm going to add a little bit to the back of my butterflies. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with foam pads. I love the dimension that they add, but I hate that bit where you've got to flip the backing off because it's just so fiddly. Okay, so one butterfly is ready. The other butterfly. That butterfly is ready. And I'm going to add my sentiment. So I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue again. I like this stuff. This is good fun stuff. It's cold. When you first apply something, you can feel that it's cold. That's, oh, should I put it down there? What do you think? Down there? Oh, let's try that. Let's put that down there. Don't know if you can hear the dog. He now has a squeaky toy to match the squeaky chair. And he's going to bring it up and squeak it at me. It's really good of him. So there we have our discover word. Let's just see. That would be good. And that would also be good. Maybe that way, maybe there, maybe there, maybe there. Cover up that little butterfly there. That'd be sad. Oh dear. I could spend the next half hour doing this. I am a terrible faffer. Like, oh, there, maybe there. Maybe there, maybe big one there. Oh, what about that? Swap them over. Big one there. Big butterfly there. Little butterfly there. There we go. Decision made, job done, card finished. So that's another way that you can use stencils and inks and black pens, if you so choose. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you will join me again soon for the next project. Let me just put this here so you can have a nice final view of what we've done today.